going on, guys? I got another video for you today. This is a Ben Solo the Light prototype by Phoenix Props. I know by the time this video is going out, these are actually going to be starting to get into customers' hands. But I believe because of the time I completed this was the first installed one anywhere. Because I talked to Phoenix Props, we kind of worked out a bit of a deal, and I got to install his the prototype for the Ben Solo Saber for the Light. And then it had to go through Vader's Vault because they're going to have some of these, and they're going to be doing some paint jobs and whatnot. And they're going to have an exclusive font, so by the time this video is going up, I had to wait for that font to be announced, which it should have been by now, before I could actually release this video. So this was completed a while ago. This is the reveal video, the review video, and this prototype is actually going to be up for sale. It is one of two in the world. The sale is going to be through Phoenix Props, but it's just going to be shipped by myself. Everything else is going to go through Phoenix Props. I'm just simply the middleman shipper and the installer. Of course, any sort of warranty issues will go through me. This Saber, as all my Sabers do, are going to have a full warranty. I'm going to explain a few things that the customer and the future owner have to keep in mind when disassembling the Saber, and a couple of the key features that are going on, and so we'll get into that now. So this is, like I said, Phoenix Props, the Light prototype. This is painted by Artisan FX. So they have their nice Quillian, it's actually not Quillian, it's just the emitter paint job, which is like it's very well detailed. Obviously, this is my first time working with them, and it's incredible. You have weathering that goes on throughout the hilt, different points. You have your pommel that has some venting inside there that is obviously weathered and dirtied up, as well as all these different sections. And your belt clip, this does not come with the belt bracket, this just comes with the working belt clip. And then you have two static buttons here, as well as your main button here. So internally we have a blue-white tri-cree LED with obviously white flash on clash, a Nano Biscotti V4 soundboard. Derek just wanted to go with the simplest setup for this one because it was a prototype and just to kind of get it out in the world and to see it. A 3D printed chassis that I apologize, I don't know who it's by. I want to say it's by Saber Shop, but don't hold me to that because I'm not positive. And then an 18650 lithium ion 10 amp high drain battery, as well as a 28mm bass speaker, and that's it. And then your switches up here. So a couple notes before we get into it. If you want to boot up the Saber, all you have to do is remove the pommel here. It's a thin threading, so I actually almost just lost it, but it's thin threading, so not very thick. Just undo that. You have your kill key here on the pommel. You can twist it or you can take it out and put your pommel back on. And so obviously if you want to illuminate it, it's that button right there. Oops. It's easier to do it from the emitter. I'm always afraid to hit these too hard, so let me get that off first. So this is Young Solo by KSith. KSith was commissioned by Vader's Vault. I had talked to him about it earlier on in the process about doing a Ben Solo font, and he already had the idea in his head. And then Vader's Vault stepped in and reached out to him and mentioned wanting to do that. And so I just kind of was like, hey, listen, it's something that you should do for them. And so this is all Vader's Vault. I believe it's Vader's Vault exclusive. We will know in the next coming days after I'm recording this video. But yeah, so Keenan did a bunch of boot sounds. I think there's like 16 in the file. There's a bunch of blasters. Again, I think there's like 6 or 7 of them. I believe it's only one hum, but the hum is really, really unique, and I'm really liking it. It's light side, but it's kind of got a cool vibe to it. And then the power on, I know, is directly ripped from the movie and cleaned up by Keenan himself. So it's a direct one-for-one power on from what you heard in the movie. So let's get this booted up again. Hear it again. So it's got like that like screech in that power on. I really love it. So there you go. And so now for the customer, a couple of things. Oh, it also comes with a nice blade blade plug that is see-through. So really, really awesome. Again, really well done by Phoenix Props. So the only thing that you should need to disassemble when putting in your blade is if you look to the right of the button in the first gash here, if you look in there, you can see right there, there's a tiny little set screw. So you just take an Allen wrench, go in, just, half turn, loosen it, and blade plug drops out. That can go to the side. And this is a 1-inch blade, so you can take any standard 1-inch blade, pop it in there. Of course, tighten down your set screw. Thumb tight as usual, nothing more is needed, and I tried to adjust the settings as best I could to really give it that really quick response time. And of course you have a humming and flickering in this one. That can be adjusted as you wish. So you can do that all in the settings as you want. I just kind of set it to something a little bit random, just to let it do its thing. I'll go to the next bank. These are all the same sound font with just different boot sounds. So again, 2 beeps, and then that'll be the next sound bank.
It's time to let old things die.
There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the kill key back in here, and then I'm going to take the blade out, and then I'm going to show you guys just a couple small warranty things for the inside of the hilt. Let me just pop that back in there. I've also adjusted the LED internally so that this blade plug should sit exactly where it needs to every time, which is good. That'll make your guys' life easy. Okay, so let me get the kill key back in. So kill key here, pop in there, and then of course, like I said, you can twist it.
It's time to let old things.
So I'm just gonna twist it and lock that in. It's just a Darth 3.0 kill key, so get this on there. There we go. Oh, good, that's locked in there. Okay, so this is a big warranty moment, so you guys try and pay attention to this, especially whoever the next customer is. So the way this is put together is you have 1, 2, 3 set screws, and that set screw holds this upper shroud, and it holds it to this internal piece right here. So this piece is separate. You have a shroud, and then you have the lower body. And so if you want to get access to your SD card, you want to remove these. Oops, dropping that. Remove these 3. And this is a little more detailed than my last videos, and I'll explain why in a second. Usually it's pretty easy, but let me get into this, and I'll explain to you guys why I'm so meticulous about this particular hilt. So take that out. 1, 2, 3. So, and that comes out there. And now before you just take this and just want to pull the pommel off, the reason that I'm so careful about this is you have your switch goes into a hole right here. And all that's connected by is this button. That's it. That's the only thing holding this shroud from moving right now, or else it'll be able to come out. And so I don't want you just pulling on this because you'll rip the switch, you'll pull this button off, and you'll break it. So what you actually want to do is you want to get a grip of the shroud and the piece and like all of this. And so the best way to do that is to thumb right across this screw right here, because this section is part of the inner core and this is part of the shroud. And so if you hold that there and don't pull, and then you just gently, actually, you know what? I even forgot to, another way that will help as well, is you gently push from the kill key. There you go. Now that you're there, you just slid out a little bit, and now this piece right here, you can grip from, but again, be careful. And now you got that, and the bottom just slides off. I know that's a lot of work, and that's probably a little bit annoying and tedious. And then my recommendation also is to then take one of your, let me get this back in there, because I don't want to mess this up either. I'm just putting one of the screws back in gently. And so then, there you go. And so I put one of the screws back in. Now you have full access to your SD card. You can do whatever you want. You can leave your lower half to the side. And you can do what you have to do. You have your wires tied up nice to the chassis. You have your battery underneath. Your speaker, obviously, and then your kill key. And yeah, so like I said, I know that is tedious, and I know that's a little annoying, so that's why I have this set up. You shouldn't have to go in and change your sound fonts, but if you do, be extremely careful about that, because this will not be covered under warranty. I've warned ahead of time, you got to be really careful. It's not like insanely fragile, but again, you have to be careful because it's just the way the Saber goes together. And I talked to Derek about that, and there's going to be some changes in the final version, I believe, but that is just the only caveat to this, is that's the one thing where it's kind of a pain about getting it off, because like I said, that's holding that. That being said, you take your sound font, your SD card out, you change your sound fonts, do what you want to do. Now we got to put it back together. So again, you obviously take this screw out, which is easy enough to do. Pull that out and put it to the side. Now I hold here, the thumb, and I get this on where, so I try and get it lined up beforehand. So one for this, 1, 2, 3 holes, and those go this way. So boom, boom, boom. And what I do is I just hold that and get this in first. And then you can push from here up top. That, make sure it's in all the way. And as long as it is, you can then hold it and line up your shroud if it needs to be moved at all. So let me get that started. Now, you have one wonderful final issue to deal with. So if you've ever changed a tire on your car, I know this sounds like it's completely out of left field. If you've ever changed a tire on your car, you'll know that when you take it off, you have to go in a star pattern. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can look it up on YouTube. But basically, you have 5 lug nuts on most tires, and in order to loosen or tighten them, you have to torque them in a star pattern, because that will set the wheel on properly. And so we're going to do something very similar with this, is how I've learned. And so I have all 3 screws started, and I have this button is working just fine, because if you torque this, then the button doesn't work. Just that little bit of movement, it doesn't work. So then what I do, and I recommend, is screwing the sides in until they're close. So 1, 2, and then bring the front in. And then check your button. Your button is good to go. And after that, just tighten them down. Again, don't jam them down yet. Button's good. Hands are shaking. That one's tight. Button's pretty good. I'm going to loosen it. Just a turn. Much better. Then we're going to tighten this one down. Then button's nice and good. Tighten that down, and you'll be good. Now, that's all good to go. Your button's not going anywhere. You can toss this on, and you're good to go. So you're going to do that once or twice if you end up having to change the sound fonts, and your life, you're going to hate it at first, then you're going to realize how easy it really is. It's just a matter of getting used to it and being careful, and that's why I took so much time to explain it in the video, and that's why we're going on 15 minutes. So that being said, that is the end of this video, and I'm going to have this, again, exact hilt for sale And I will have a price and everything up on my page soon. And like I said, I hope you guys are interested. I hope you guys buy this. And like I said, it's an incredible hilt. It's really well made, and I had a lot of fun installing it. It was a pretty easy install. So that is it, and I will talk to you guys later.